Hey guys, and welcome back to another installment of our EnteliWEB basics training videos. This one's going to be a shorter video, but it's going to be kind of important. I would say that we're going to be adjusting schedules and set points for zones. These two things, as an operator, as you probably already know, are going to be very common day-to-day routines for you guys. So this is a good one. We're going to jump right in. We're going to go over to our dashboard here. And just as a friendly reminder, in order to get to your site's dashboard, you go to Graphics, find your site, expand it, and select Building Summary, which will load your summary dashboard here. So today we're going to be looking at Ambeers. I'm probably going to jump to another one later. But let's look at the Schedule Adjust. So like in my previous video I mentioned, this is your schedule widget here. These are all the current schedules that are currently occupied, it looks like, for Ambeers School. So in order to adjust a day, you're going to start by clicking it. So let's say this coming Saturday they're having some sort of in-service, and there's people going to be there, so they want to extend the schedule so that the space is conditioned on Saturday. You're going to start by clicking on a schedule to adjust. It's going to open up, and you see here, this is our current week. It is Friday. You'll see it is highlighted in yellow here what day you're at, and the time of day is indicated by this line right here. Let's say we want to add a schedule here on Saturday. You're going to come over and you're just going to click. This kind of gives it a good, the computer can now know what the start time you want to start at. Maybe you want to start it an hour back, you can do it here. When you hit add schedule, you'll see it's going to kind of load some of the stuff that we already done here. It's going to say, hey, you want to add it on Saturday here, and the start time is going to be 7 a.m. So if you came across here, you'll notice where I clicked was 7. You can, once clicking, you can always set that back. Say you want it to start at 6 and you want it to run till about noon. You'd click here. And one of the other important things to note while you're here, this is, when it says weekly here, it's thinking that you want to add this schedule here and repeat it indefinitely into the future. So if it's just for that day, let's say it's just for Saturday the 10th, you'll come up here and you'll select single day or single date. That's telling the computer, hey, it's just for this specific date. And you can put a little description in there, maybe why, in service day, however you want to do it. And you want the value to be on, saying that, hey, I want the schedule to be on or occupied during this time. You can hit save, and what you'll notice, it's going to add that schedule in here, and it's going to change it to a different color because this is outside. It means it's a one-time sort of schedule adjustment here, and that's why it's dark green versus light green, whereas light green is going to tell you that, hey, this schedule right here or any of these is going to be repeated week after week. So if we go to the next week, you can see these are repeated here, but the dark green is not. So let's just go in here because this is a live site. I'm going to adjust this and delete it. So easily, if you made a mistake, you want to change something, it's really easy. You can just hit delete here. You confirm it. And boom, now it's gone. It works very similarly if you guys need to change a schedule. Let's say, I think, what is it, Columbus Day or something like that here on the 12th. Let's say, school's not in session, but you are going to have teachers maybe come in the beginning of the day. You can click directly on that schedule. It's going to load what the current setup is. So it's starting at 6 a.m. and it's going till 5 p.m. It does use 24-hour clock in here, so you have to consider that. For you guys that aren't used to it, the easiest way is just subtract 12 off of this. It'll tell you what that time is. Let's say that they wanted to adjust this so that at 11:30 the schedule would turn off. You would say it here. Day of the week's already selected because we clicked this. Value to on. So now essentially what we're saying is we want from 6 o'clock till 11:30. We want this schedule to be on, and then you can hit save. So this is a very important pop-up as well. What it's essentially asking me here is, because it noted this was a repeated schedule, do I want to make this adjustment for all of the Mondays in perpetuity into the future? If you do want to make a long-term adjustment like that to a schedule, you would hit yes. If you just want to make it specific for this day, you will hit no in our case here. And you'll see now that this Monday it's going to be ending at 11:30. But if we jump to the next week, actually might have had that backwards actually. Let's go back and adjust that. Change this back to there. Save. That should have adjusted. Yeah. So now we're back to the thing here. Let me try this again. So we'll set this back to 11:30. We want it to be on. Would you like to automatically update other matching weekly entries? No, I would not like to do that. And it should just adjust it in there. Huh. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but it will not do that. Probably when you guys do it, I might just be having a bug here. So we'll just hit save. We'll set this back to usual. Let me make sure it's fixed. So that pretty much covers it for the summary thing. It's pretty easy. You click, or for the schedule, you click, you can add schedules. It's pretty straightforward. You can adjust schedules just as easily. So the second part of this topic here, we're going to be going into Setpoint Adjust. So for Setpoint Adjust, if you remember from my previous video, is done over here on the zone widget. It's done by actually clicking on a zone temperature. So let's say this room, it's at 68. It's a little bit cool. As you can see, there's a decent amount of rooms that are cool here. You're going to click on it. It's going to tell you at the top here the name of the zone that you clicked on. So in this case, 211, the one right up here. It's going to tell you its current set point. So it's currently set to 76 degrees, but the current temperature inside of there is 68. So you can see it's fairly cool. They might be doing something at this school, I'm not sure. But let's say we want to adjust that up, down to 74, because 76 was just too high and it wasn't seem to be doing anything. If we adjust it down 2 degrees, we're going to hit set. That little indicator there is telling you that it is trying to write to the controller to override the set point, and the check mark is the confirmation telling you that it successfully wrote to that controller. In the case that there might be a communication issue or it didn't actually take that value and send it to the controller to override the zone set point, it will show you an X here. And a lot of times if there was an error associated with it, it will show you some text in here describing what the error was. And then after that, this should be overridden. So in order to close this widget, you can either click outside or you can click the little X here in the corner. Both will close the widget. And then if you need to adjust another site, you can just open it up like that, or another zone. Let's see if we can find another site here that might, actually I think they might have some. Let's see. There are different styles of Setpoint Adjust. And let's see what we can find. Maybe Alice Deal. I don't know if they're online. Does not seem like they are. Bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to find a site that uses a dual set point for their zone control. Let's see, these VAVs, nope. Looks like they're all VAVs and they all have a single zone set point. Well, I know we're having a problem with Anacostia right now, but I can kind of show you at least what the dual zone set point looks like over there. So in Anacostia, as opposed to having a single zone set point of like a single temperature, they actually use a dual set point system. This is fairly common. You might have this at your building. So let's say we want to adjust this room right here. We're going to click on it. So you'll see that there's now 2 values inside of your zone set point widget. It's going to have a heating set point and a cooling set point. What this essentially means is that this unit can either heat or cool at any point. So what it's trying to do, the logic behind this controller is it's saying, I want to make sure my zone's temperature falls between 68 and 74 degrees. If the zone temperature drops below 68, it's going to engage its heating. However it does this here, either whether it's electric reheat or hydronic, it's going to try to heat up this room if it drops below 68 degrees. If the room temperature goes above 74 degrees, it's going to turn on its cooling coil, and it's going to try to cool it down. And so a lot of people get confused with these two different set points, but what it really means is that the zone can be anywhere between these two numbers. It's just going to try to fall between there. So let's say we wanted to bump the heat a little bit more in this zone. You would hit up, and what you'll notice is when you hit the up or down buttons, it's going to index both of these numbers up and down. So if I hit up, it's going to add 1 to this one, and it's also going to add 1 to this one. And then from there, it can go back down again. Another thing worth noting is that in our system, we do restrict the set points that you can set it to. So in most cases, it's going to be 76 on the high end. You'll notice I can't go up anymore on 76, and on the low end, it's going to be 68. So I can't go any lower than 68. And this is just for best practices purposes. Some people enjoy setting these set points really high or really low, thinking that it's going to heat or cool faster. That is not the case. It's just going to be on for longer and possibly make the inhabitants of the room very uncomfortable. I think that kind of wraps up most of what we have for here. One of the other things I did want to touch on over here on and beers. I know this is not going to be part in the Moodle course for this section, but I wanted to mention it before, and I realized I forgot. So if you want to, like we just talked about, if you want to adjust the zone temperature, give it a second to load. There we go. You click that. Ambeers also is a good example. This site does have CO2, and so the normal is indicating that the CO2 levels are normal and not high. I don't think there's any high CO2 values currently, but if you do need to see a unit graphic of the system, clicking over here on the name will do that. So if you click here, you'll notice a pop-up comes up. This is the actual VRF cassette that is in the ceiling in the unit or in that zone. It will give you some other data points like the zone temp and set point, which you can see on the other ones, but then what mode it's in. It's currently in cooling, the fan status, a couple other points. And this graphic over here will change depending upon what system is in that zone. I think it's all VRF here for Ambeers, but it will be it could be a heat pump, it could be a fan coil, it could be anything for each zone. So I think that kind of summarizes everything you need to know about the zone set point adjust and schedule adjust. And thank you guys.